kill the stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Oh yes sir, I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they said. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Can't be a real, might get you canceled. The whole system need to dismantle. Coppers treated like the utmost wanted. Tryna rule the block but don't know what goes on it. News got a story with a new take on me. Carrying out the window with the screw face on me. But I know that God love me when my burn 95 degrees and I can't get sunburn. Wonder when your government don't make me legal. Burn the whole city if I can't be equal. Get off my please, Brad, I earned that 400 years.
We are live. We are live. Back again. The Monday got here fast because I wanted it to, because I want to get involved with the information that Brother Neil Frazier is sharing. Brother, I'm so glad to be back here with you again. I'm very happy about this, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say. How have you been? I know you're well, and we're here. There you go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, again, it's good to be back with you, Lance, on Monday. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you so much, brother.
Yeah, I know you put in a lot of work. So we're going to have a good show today, and we get right to it if you want to.
Oh, yeah. This is your time, man. I'm here to support you as our brothers and sisters file in. The numbers are going to grow. Yeah. Last week's show was spectacular. As always, full of information. Again, you spearhead past many of those who come on just to talk or echo what other people say. But it's quite evident that what you do here is a result of many hours, days, months, and years of study, and not even just study, but absorbing it. And sometimes when you study, you don't always get it the first time to stick.
That's true. That's true.
That people can read, but they don't always comprehend. So this is why when you have some people who may read something and you ask them what it is that you just read, they can't tell you. So repetitiously over, you saturate your mental tissues with this information, and it becomes one with you, and it's evident how it flows out of your mouth, not just out of your mouth, but your whole essence, every fiber of your being exudes this thing. And this is why it's such a good meal when you bring it to us, because you're well saturated in truth, and that's what flows from you, from every part of you.
Well, thank you, Brother Lance. You know, I always say there's nobody that can set the table like you. And I always appreciate the kind words, and always love getting and connecting with you on Mondays, because it also, you know, the energy works both ways. So I enjoy coming with the family and sharing what little knowledge I have, and also to speak to you from my perspective, and also to share our spiritual connections.
Yes.
So today, as you said, we're gonna be talking about our genetic memory bank again, which is an important subject. And I thought about it for a while, and I said, well, I need to go into this a little deeper so that we can have more of a dialogue about it. And as we know, there's been a 2,000-year-old assault on our truth, now really the truth of the planet. So I'll begin with actually the foundation of what we are, who we are, where it came from, and why those who oppose us actually, where their contempt for us come from. What is the root cause of this? Because I hear Black people say all the time, why do they hate us so much? And after today, you may not be asking that question as much anymore, hopefully. Yeah, they did a real snow job on us. But I want to take you back. I want to take the family back to where this all began. We as a people, we created the greatest system in the history of the world. That system, known as the Greeks called it the mystery system, because it was a mystery to them, and they did not comprehend and understand it. But for our people, as we explained before with the concept of the Netaru, that this was a common everyday practice. This was our lifestyle. So we go back 5,000 years ago, and I want to talk about how languages developed. So many people may or may not be aware of the fact that you cannot have language without first having conceptualized what it is that you're putting in a linguistic form. And our people, our concepts came from the oldest written language on the planet, the Medu Neter, which was written in stone. The importance of this, and I want to point this out because this is at the fundamental root of where our issue is spiritually. The Greeks called the Medu Neter hieroglyphics, and they said that it was sacred writings. But our people called it the sounds of the spirit. Now, why is that important? There is a big difference between interpreting things through the sounds of your spirit or through nature, the sounds of nature, because believe it or not, before we were inundated with all of these things that keep us going in all kind of different ways, we communicated through our spirits because we were connected to nature. So this is why this term, the sounds of nature or sounds of the spirit, is so important, because this actually is where we can see the separation between those who have a calcified pineal gland. And I want to explain that too, because a lot of people are, going back and forth about this. You're not able to actually get the full spectrum of sound without an open pineal gland. So that pretty much describes it right there. So this is why those who don't have an open pineal gland, even to this day, whenever they interpret something, they look at it from a one way or a 90-degree angle, as I always like to say. The importance of that is when they looked at the language, they separated its spiritual aspect. And this is why they called it sacred writings, because to them, this was just a manifestation of something that they had no understanding of. So what's the importance when it comes to our concepts about spirituality? Why is it important for us to know this, to know our original language, and how we have been severed from it and what it has done to us as a people? So it's important from a historical perspective, because it is the fundamental root of all languages, particularly the Semitic languages, which are Hebrew, Babylonian, Aramaic, and Arabic. And from that, it also has very important spiritual applications, which we'll touch on. Also, in East Africa and in Senegal, the Medunetter is actually a living language today. That there is a language that is practiced there in Senegal called Wolof that is like the splitting image of this 5,000-year-old language that our ancestors created. The first, or what they call the Old Kemetic language, and this is where, you know, the foundation was set, was between the first and eighth dynasties, 5,000 BC to 2240 BC. The next stage was between the 8th and 11th dynasties. It was called Middle Kemetic language. And that was from 2240 BC to 1920 BC. Then you had the Late Kemetic language, which was from 1920 BC to 1140 BC. And then we get to the cursive as the language matured and came down. You got the cursive form of the Medu-Neter, which is called Hieratic. And that was from 1120 BC to 715 BC. And then you have the Demotic, which was 700 BC. So you see, during this whole period, 5,000-year period, that our people, and the way that the Medu-Neter was constructed was based on what we produced from it was not only writing, counting, astronomy, geometry, algebra, anything that you know as science today or biology today. All of this came from our original language. The other reason this is important, as I mentioned before in the beginning, is that this language connected us to nature in a way that no other religion can or could. So before I go into why this is important to us today, I want to make something plain that we comprehend and understand that at the root of who we are and our chakras, this is still a part of our genetic memory bank. And this is why there's so much confusion with us, because it's like you're fighting something that's deep inside of you without your knowledge. So when our system, when they first came to our shores and they saw this, they didn't understand the full impact of our connection with the Creator. Again, they do not have the ability to do that. So let's look at a very important word in the Medu-Neter. That word is called Sha Sha, and the cartoon for that and the symbols for that is the trilateral symbol on both sides, and then you have the vulture in the middle. And so our people always use, and this is a very important point for us to understand is that when we expressed and communicated what was given to us by the creator creatrix spirit, we did it in symbolic form. Okay, we didn't use fancy words. This is why you're able to be deceived with these languages today, because when you're dealing with the sounds of the spirit, there's no deception involved. It is what it is, what's coming through you. The other thing that's important is that when we feel when we feel the sounds of the spirit, it has a different effect on us. So this is why when you go to temples or churches, why you get so emotional is because this is deep down inside your genetic memory bank. So this word sha'asha actually means respect. And in our ancestral memory bank, the word respect, okay, was very important. In fact, one of the oldest and most sacred practices that was called dirt in the Medu Neter is actually libations. And so the way that we interpreted this was that whenever we poured libations, then we were invoking the spirit of our ancestors who never really leave us. And this is what we believe. We didn't believe in, the fact that when someone transitioned that they did not still affect our everyday life, because they did. And so the symbols for that is the hand, the mouth, and then the square map. And then finally, the two creators of the Medu Neter, Jehuti and Sashata, which is the creator, Jehuti, and the father and creator, and the mother creatrix, Sashasta. And this is why it's so important for us to maintain the male, masculine, and feminine energy. And so I'm going to explain to you why that was severed and why now we have this corruption of this very important principle that actually describes the supreme creators of the universe. So when you look at this from this perspective, then you can understand why you're hated so much, because out of this, what they call the mystery system, they plagiarized. First of all, they stole our legacy. Then a good book to read is George G.M. James, Stolen Legacy. I'm sure many of the people in the family is familiar with that book. One of the other references for what I was talking about earlier is, I believe his name is Sir Alan Gardner, the Egyptian grammar, because again, you're looking at a people that's trying to interpret something that's outside of their sphere of comprehension. So the reason why this is important, I want to go back to this because this is very critical, is that when we look at our systems and the concepts that we produce from our systems, then it explains why this hatred towards us is so strong even to this day. Because the people that know this and that have studied you for millennia, they already know that they have to keep you in a state of imbalance in order for you not to reconnect with your genetic memory bank. Okay, so again, our concepts had nothing to do with what you know as religion today. In fact, many of the things that you know in religion today were created from the Meotian concepts that we had of truth, justice, and righteousness. And this is why Black people are, involved in a lot of wicked things, is because they have pretty much separated you from your true nature. And so when you're separated from your true nature, it's like being in a sinking ship and having no anchor to save yourself. All right. So finally, when when the individual who you know as Jesus, when the 2,000-year-old timeline began, and they began to decipher what's his name, Champollion, when they and Thomas Young, when they began to study demotic and they started to decipher the Medu Neter, they also became aware that they had limitations because they could not grasp the spiritual aspect of this. So what they did was they started creating concepts that would bind your mind. In fact, that's what religion means, to bind, the Roman definition of it. So all of these things began to take place. So they knew that instead of telling you the truth about Yeshua, that they had to create this image for you, and they were aware of it even back then, because what they were aware of was that they had to remove. And I remember something Dr. John Henry Clarke told us, that in his great work, A Great and Mighty Walk, he said that, and I love the way Dr. Clarke spoke about things. You said when he was young and he went to Harlem to the Schomburg Institute. Sorry, family, I'm a little tired too myself. It's been a long weekend. But when he went to see Arthur Schomburg, who I know many of you probably know that the center is there. I know Lance knows. But long story short, he went in and he asked him, he said he wanted to know about African history. And he was a young man then. And Arthur Schomburg said, sit down, son. He said, what you're calling African history are the missing pages of world history. And then he told him to go study European history and find out why it was so necessary for them to remove our people out of the respectful pages of history. And that was a very powerful statement that Dr. Clarke made. The other thing too is that the people that did this, that plagiarized our history and stole our history, they began to destroy the connection between our genetic memory bank and the sacred writings that they called it. They began to sever us from that. Okay. And the last point I want to make about this too is when you talk about a holy land, the first holy land in history, okay, or what our people call the Taneter, was called Aptu, which later the Arabs changed to Abydos. So they begin to remove not only our genetic memory bank connection, but they begin to replace the spiritual words. Okay, before there was any Israel or anything like that, there was Aptu, which was the first holy land in history. So all of these things our people are unaware of because we continue to listen to those that have destroyed our history. The other thing too is when they begin to study in the mystery system, they basically changed when they begin to use different languages, the ones that I mentioned earlier. They begin to take out the feminine aspect of who we are. And this is very, very important. And you can see this down even today. But they destroyed this concept for a reason. Because they knew that a Sar and a Set, it wasn't nobody taking a rib from anybody to create. No, they were created simultaneously in our creation story. Okay. But because of the misogynistic nature of Europeans, they destroyed this principle. And that one act has a tremendous effect on the imbalance of Black people. Because what you're calling the Holy Ghost or the Holy Spirit is not the original concept. That is a plagiarized story from the original concepts of our people. So now you see why you're hated so much, because once you come into the knowledge of this, then those that stole it and plagiarized it, that they're trying to hide from the children and don't want us to speak truth, they hate you for that. Because they know that now, since we have manifested, that we're exposing these lies and deceptions. And when you separate the creator, creative spirit, or the father, mother principle, then what you're doing is you're separating yourself not only from source energy, but from our genetic memory bank. So let's come into today. I want to channel my inner Dr. Arthur Lewis, one of our greatest world economic historians. And we're going to talk about what happened over the last 500 years to give you a clear picture and connection to what I spoke to you about earlier with our spiritual concepts. Because it wasn't psychological concepts like you're being driven by religion. No, these were the sounds of the spirit, which comes from inside of you. But then you started listening to other people, and this is where the connection was severed. So what Dr. Arthur Lewis taught us about economics and world economic domination by Europeans was that there were 5 countries. There were England, France, Germany, Spain, and Portugal. And these 5 countries, when they went into the motherland, okay, they didn't just take, okay, let me back up for a minute. So what they were able to do over a 300 to 400 year period was drain all of your resources, okay? But they didn't just drain, they didn't just take you out physically, okay? They took your unskilled and skilled labor. They took the scientists, See, unlike these lies that they want to make you believe that people were slaves, they took the people who were the skilled laborers, the unskilled laborers, the scientists, the mathematicians, okay, the farmers, because unlike what we have been taught in the Western world, and this is why I always say, and others say, that everything you see in the Western world, that you are the foundation of this, okay? But these 5 countries, they were able not only to take you out, but they took your resources and your technology, okay? One of the things, you know, they talk about derivatives and stocks and bonds and stuff. That's not real. That has no real value. In order to create real value, and that's why you see the rise of countries that are producing resources, because someone has to dig in the ground, someone has to plant the crops, and then someone has to harvest them. And this is how you create the foundation of wealth. And as I said earlier, they didn't just take our people and our knowledge and our resources, they took the technology. They created the, Black people invented weaving, okay, and textiles. So they were able to take this knowledge and the machines that you created, bring them back to Europe and America, okay, and then they began to build what you know and what they teach in school, in the school systems here in America, the Industrial Revolution. But that revolution could not have started, first of all, without having the machines that I mentioned to you, the weaving machines, the old, because our people used to use them with the old sewing machines and stuff like that, and technology like that. And they also had to have the people who had the knowledge of using these machines. So all of these things were, you know, came into play when they begin to, you know, take everything back to Europe and then America. The other thing that really was the foundation for them, for what they call the Industrial Revolution, was when the Europeans began to learn how to smelt iron and aluminum and copper, okay? And when they learned this kicked off their Industrial Revolution. But when you go back and look at you can go to West Africa and see thousands of years that our people were smelting iron and copper and aluminum. This is something you can even, Dr. Ben taught us about Africans living on the Nile when he traveled the Nile and showed us for thousands of years our people was doing this. So all these lies about, you know, the people that you think are the smartest people in the world and all of this, you don't know that all of this came from you. You are the originators of this. Okay. The other thing that they did so effectively was that when they begin to build, because when they brought us here too, we began to build the roads, the levees. I don't care what they tell you, these lies they tell you on the History Channel. We know this for a fact. Okay. They began to build this. This is why they always tell you they'd rather give aliens credit than give you credit for building the foundational concepts of what we see in the world today. Okay, and we know this. We know this truth. So this is behind why they don't want, this is why we need independent schools, okay, like the Academy of Netter One. This is why we need platforms like the LANCESCURV platform. Because we're in a spiritual warfare, okay? And if we don't put the energy back, like I say all the time, the third law of thermodynamics is that for every action that you put in motion, there's an equal and opposite reaction coming at you. Okay, so all of these things are responsible for the psychological and spiritual and physical condition that we find ourselves in today, because we have forgotten our genetic memory bank. But the most severe thing that is taking place now is that now they're removing, okay, anything that will make you even think about connecting to your genetic memory bank, they are removing. Even simple words like woke, they don't want you to use, or they'll demonize the word. Yeah, and they'll demonize words in order to disconnect you from, because this is their MO. This is the only power that they have, okay, to psychologically disconnect you. They can't disconnect you spiritually. They can do it psychologically and they can do it physically. But what our people need to understand and comprehend is that our greatest power is in nature, the Netaru. Okay? And so you don't have to fight no physical war. You have the greatest army inside of you. But you have to use it. And you can't be afraid to embrace it. See, this is at the root of our issue, is that we are afraid. Every other culture relishes in their culture. Okay? Where I came from this weekend. These people love their culture. But the reason why we are denigrating our own culture, using all this wicked bastardized language, concepts, is because we have separated from our original genetic memory bank, which was based on Ma'atan law of truth, justice, and righteousness. And this is in our nature. Okay, so when you have the kids and they're regurgitating this wicked music to satisfy these people who don't want our next generation to know this, then you have to fight back. You have to fight back, family. We can no longer sit on the sideline and get steamrolled. We have the knowledge. We know the truth, but you don't want to speak it. It's like, and I'll tell you where this came from, or where this comes from. And this 2,000-year-old plot to destroy you spiritually, with these unknown gods and this proliferation of all of these wicked and symbolic things that we're grasping onto, plays a part in this. You have to walk away from this wicked system. You cannot continue. You will not survive. Okay, you will not survive psychologically, spiritually, or physically if you continue to embrace the wickedness in this system. Okay, because again, it's designed to shut off the sounds of the spirit, and then to upload something that you like to hear, you know, and do the things that we're doing or you're doing, because I don't do it. And I'm not saying this to try to make myself look better. I'm just like you. I'm fighting the same things. Okay, but I am aware of, you know, where this comes from, why it exists. And these are the things that the more we make our people aware of these things, then the more, all you got to do is speak it. It has an energy of its own. So the way that you're trained in this system, this is why I have a problem with the way that they teach our people in these churches. I have a real problem with that. Okay, because at the root of that is based in deception because of what I spoke to you earlier about your original concepts. All of that was designed to tear that down from you. Okay. And when the Roman emperors finally understood that they could not be worshiped as gods in our system, then this is when they begin to destroy it. They begin to actively destroy it. Now, the other thing that they did was, and that they use today with our people, is they demonize our culture. And I can remember as a little boy, whenever I, you know, had to go to church, and anytime my father or anybody else, any religious person, talked about Egypt, it was in some derogatory manner. But I don't blame them, okay? They don't have the knowledge that we have now. This is why this is so troubling, because we have this knowledge. They didn't have it, okay? Or let me put it like this. They were not able, they were not allowed, okay, after all the centuries of indoctrination with one book, they were not allowed to read, write, interpret things that were outside of that book. So maybe that's a good excuse for them, but what is our excuse? But like I said, what they did was they started attacking our spiritual concepts to make it seem like something was wrong with Yehudi, or something was wrong with the concept of that, or something was wrong with whatever came out of our mystery system, which is still a mystery to them. Okay. And so this is why when they teach you from this book, this is why they always try to appeal to you emotionally. Because if you were ever able to separate yourself from that, you see something totally different happening with the enlightenment of our people. But again, I want to keep hammering this nail, because I see it every day. I know a lot of you see it. I know Lance have seen it for years, decades. Is that they want the kids, man. They don't want you. Okay? You're not a threat with them, to them. They gave you a title, you have a job. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with working a job. I do when I have to. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the reason why they keep you focused on this, get a new house, a new car, all of these things, okay, to set you on the sideline. And then that becomes your vocal point. That becomes the vocal point of everyone you're involved with. So instead of, you know, the spiritual and psychological energy that we're supposed to be vibrating at, okay, we're always vibrating down here. Because those material things, they put spells on you. Okay? So the most important thing about reconnecting with our genetic memory bank right now is the fact that we have to now reteach most of the adults, and then we must focus on teaching the children. The good thing is we don't have to do it in a hateful manner like our culture has been demonized. If we use the principles of truth, justice, and righteousness, it will break the back of these wicked entities that are seeking to bring you down every day. The other real important thing about us reconnecting with our genetic memory bank is that it will open up our first eye in order for us to see what's inside of each one of us. Because right now, most of the time when you see another Black person, there's some hostility involved. See, and all of these things come from you using these words that put spells on you rather than using the sounds of the spirit in order to communicate with each other. Because when you're using the sounds of the spirit, okay, then that is the greatest force on the planet. So there's nothing that can stand against it. So anytime anybody says anything, and I'm not saying we're not going to have negative confrontations with people. This happens all of the time. What I'm saying is this won't be at the root of who you are and then pass this spirit down to our children. Because again, unlike other people, Black people have the strongest ability or energy to affect anything that they come in contact with. And so you must be aware and cognizant of this. So why is the attempt now to continue to destroy our history going on? You won't hear about it in school. If we don't teach what we are teaching about our genetic memory bank, they will continue to destroy everything that's associated with it. And this is why you have to be very careful. We are at a very critical stage right now in the history of Black people. Okay, we are at a crossroads. Okay, and if you fail to recognize this, to see this energy vortex that the Creatrix is now open for you to see, and you walk away from it, it's going to be a heavy price to pay, because the people that you're following care nothing about you. All you have to do is walk around in your communities to see that. Okay, that's all you have to do. The other thing that they use what I call the 1-2 punch or the counter punch, is that they keep you in a fog with religion, and then they give you the education that this is why you have people that are always asking us, well, where you got the proof? Where's the proof? Or where's your proof? Where is your, because we have the proof in Kemet, but where is your proof? Why did you have to take all of the artifacts out of our lands in order to build up or create a plagiarized history? Where is it? Where is your history? Why have you stolen our history and now you hate us because we are reclaiming our history? Okay? So I don't care if you hate me. Okay? And as a matter of fact, I expect that. I'd rather deal with a wolf than a fox, because at least I know the wolf that's trying to eat me. The fox will make you think that he's not trying to eat you, but he has the same goal. He has the same game plan, or I'm sorry, not the same game plan. He has the same reason, okay, for wanting to deceive you, and that is to eat you, mind, body, and spirit. So most of what we've been dealing with have been foxes, even to this day. They'll smile in your face. They'll tell you what you want to hear. They'll pay you. They'll pay you what they won't pay brothers like Lance and other people that are clapping back at them. But they'll pay you to walk away from your genetic memory bank. And this is very important. And this is why we have to take our minds and eyes off of materialism, because no matter how much you accumulate, okay, you can continue. If you're not using that to build something, it doesn't mean anything. It's not going to help you at all. And this war is getting stronger in terms of the weapons that they're using. Okay, but these weapons are only effective on us because these are things that we validate or we put value in. The minute you take value off of what they have taught you to love and this wickedness that you're worshiping, the minute you take your mind off of that, you'll see a major difference with our people. Okay? The minute you grasp the fact that they are continuing to demonize anything that's connected to us, to our origins, to our original concepts, to our languages, to our language that they created languages from. The minute you recognize that, you don't have to be an expert on the Medu. I'm not. Okay? But you do have to look at the concepts. You have to look at the concepts, and you have to now begin to understand that this is who you are, and that these concepts, okay, if they are not used by our people, okay, can also work against us, because now they're making you think that is something wrong with you because you're embracing your knowledge. So again, in the Western world, everything that you see that they started from the Industrial Revolution. And this is why also you see after they started the Industrial Revolution, then you begin to see big insurance houses like Lloyd's of London. You begin to see the Chase Bank. You begin to see all these financial institutions that we have not benefited from begin to sprout up. And it came from you digging in the soil, you planting, our farmers planting in the ground and harvesting them. It came from Benjamin Banneker and George Washington Carver, scientists like that, okay, that built the Western world's financial institutions. Okay, so I hope this, I'm not sure if I talked, how long I talked, but if Brother Lance, if you want to I know, and it's good. I like the energy with that. If you want to bring in people to talk or discuss or what have you.
Sure. Let me drop the link right in the room.
Okay.
We got it here, and let me see. It's a beautiful thing, the communication.
Yes, sir. It really is. And you know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why the urgency is not there. Like one of the things that I always get from you, brother, whenever I see anything you produce, you get that feeling of urgency. You know what I mean? And this is something that's missing. Our people are walking around in a fog, man. It's like that religion and education is knocking them out. It's like,
seriously,
how could you not see this? How could you not see this?
Right. So many are docile. Yeah, no, sorry to cut you. No, I just wanted to say so many are docile. And state that we're in collectively, we need to have more of a sense of urgency. But how are we going to have a sense of urgency with no game plan, with no map, with no if you don't know where you're going, you're not going to have a sense of urgency. And you know, there's so much when I observe, because jobs that I've had, you know, like working in the jail, working in prison, driving the bus, I have nothing but time in those days to observe people. I was always like that from young, single digit ages. Yeah. And you can see who in a crowd who had something to do, somewhere to go. Now, I know you're not going to always be in that zone, because you might be off, or you take off from what your endeavor is, because that's very important also. But collectively over time, seeing some of the same people in the street as I drove the bus, a lot of them just, if the wind blew one way, they go that way. If a friend said, come take a ride, and you know, nothing wrong with that, but there was just this lackadaisical thing. Me, I'm trying to get it. Okay. I mean, it's not, I'm like O.J. Simpson running through the airport in that commercial from the 70s. But I mean, sometimes I'm like that also. You see? You know? And yeah. And see, that and the finances. You see, I spoke about this the other night on the conference call. I just want to bring up this point. Unrelated, but it is out here in Ghana, many people, some are nice and some are not so nice, but they can read you and your enthusiasm as you move about. And then you know them and they talk with you and stuff. But the funny thing is that I've learned that many of them equate your enthusiasm in how you walk. And they don't say it's how you walk. They don't read it that way, but it hits them when you're going somewhere and you're coming back and you got to run back out again. You're looking to get this thing, or you have a camera in your hand, and what they equate that with, not with hopelessness, but you have a goal and you have a life, and they actually equate that with money. Oh, you must have you have a lot of money. No, I have a lot of enthusiasm. We like to have money directed, and those who after the money, who go after the money aimlessly, gain nothing from the money. So chasing after money is not enough. You better have a place to put it. We all know the experiment taught to us in school when we took the magnifying glass in the sun and held it over the newspaper. The sun is very powerful. We have redirected the rays in a very focused fashion to burn through that paper. So it wasn't just, oh, wow, it's burning. That showed me that when you focus your energies, you can burn through anything. Yet many of us want results. We want the results, but we don't want to put the focus in. We don't want to walk with that sense of urgency. So we're not going to get anywhere. But then we're strange to those who don't have the focus, who have the focus, who have the direction, and don't think with a mind of hopelessness, because I know for a fact, I say challenge, but I'll say the word problem, that every problem has a solution, whether you know it or not. It's up to you to take the time to dissect the circumstances and figure out what the solution is to the problem. And again, problem, challenge. Challenge is energy and positivity. Problem is weighted down and negative to me. If you keep saying, I got problems, it just makes you want to go down and sit down on the curb and just stare off into space and not do nothing about it. But when you say, I have a challenge, it activates something inside And if I am a champion in life, even taking certain steps back or what some would say are losses, which I don't believe in a loss, that thing called loss, opportunity to learn.
That's right.
So I'm a champion. First, you must know that you're a champion. And first, you must know that you're equipped to surmount anything put in front of you, right? Now, once you know that, now see, many people won't like you for thinking that way. To heck with them. We all are champions, whether we know it or not. But I'm a champion. And anything you throw at me is
no question.
a problem, what I call a challenge, I'm going to whip because I'm here to do that. And that makes me learn and it makes you learn. So the mindset is very important. The sense of urgency is very important. And we have to change our thinking to get out of this muck that is put in our mind, the sugar in the gas tank that stops our mental faculties from working properly. You see what I mean? I can go on forever. You got me hyped because when I'm listening to you, man, you jump. Now, anybody who wants to come on in and
you know what I found out too, brother, about
here it is again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, brother.
The link is there. Click it, y'all.
The difference between the sounds of the spirit and sacred writings, it really does define what our challenges are and what our issues are. It really does. Let's see if I can give a good example of this. Let's say you go, because you know I like to use this analogy too. I've used it before several times before with you. You go to a hospital, and you know I go in, I sit down, and they said, "How you doing today, Mr. Frazier?" I said, "Oh, I'm doing good, but you know I'm concerned about this issue I'm having. I just want to know what the real problem is and what the diagnosis is." And they go and they get LANCESCURV's medical chart and your history, medical history. And then they diagnose me based on that, or vice versa. Now, how in the world are you gonna diagnose anybody with the medical chart of another person? So this is what has happened with us. Okay, we are living our lives based on the deceptions and manipulations and lies of another people. But those deceptions, lies, and manipulations are ingrained in our psyche. And it's such a thorough job. They did such a thorough job that not only did we disconnect from our genetic memory bank, but we refuse to say, okay, I'm going to step outside of this now that I'm aware of this, and then I'm going to share this energy with other people that I meet. But more importantly, I'm going to teach my children this, and I'm going to pass this down to the next generation. But an interesting thing happens when we begin to try to diagnose our issue. There's always going to be somebody, usually a preacher or someone like that, that's going to reinforce, okay, the sacred writings and remove the sounds of your spirit that's talking to you. When the creatrix is talking to you, you don't want to hear that. You want to hear when somebody is saying something that's already in your psychic or quoting scriptures that will make you feel good. But life is not always about feeling good, okay? Matter of fact, pain is necessary, because when you have pain, you're forced to act. And if you any kind of anguish, psychological or physical pain, or you're gonna act. So the most telling thing about the wickedness of this 2,000-year-old destruction of our history and our genetic memory bank is the people that have constructed this know the truth. So what does that tell you when somebody is deliberately mislead? Just like if you found out somebody you know has been lying to you for all these years, there's no worse feeling than the feeling of betrayal. And when you know, many of our people they love these concepts that have been given to them, these false concepts and lies. They love this stuff. And when you try to tell them anything different, they'll cut your head off, bro. Whenever you try to say, okay, well, how about let's looking at it from this angle? It's that dogmatism. And see, the reason why this dogmatism exists in religion and education, because the people that constructed it does not have the capacity that you have to see things in a 720 degree metaphysical and physical way of seeing this or comprehending this. Also, the sounds of the spirit. Now, we have a misconception about sounds. It's not just auditory. And this is something I came into the knowledge of as well. It's not just a sound, auditory sound you hear. It's a stimulation in our spiritual minds that has been cut off. So all of these things, when you disconnect from the world's oldest language and the concepts that were created as a result of this language, then now you are following a language that is foreign to your spiritual makeup. And this is so very important. You know, the thing that I always look at how what type of evil would cause a people to pass down a 2,000-year-old lie that people from other millennia have to agree with this lie. This is, brother, this is very, very critical when you look at this.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the institutions that they have built, these institutions continue to teach lies to our people. And on top of that, our people continue to soak up these lies. I was watching a show, this was about maybe 6 months ago. In one of these colleges or universities, they're not real universities to me. You can call them whatever they want. This young sister was questioning this white professor about something. And apparently her parents or somebody had told her the truth about this. Do you know that they had her arrested because the professor got angry with her and started challenging her, you know, because now,
wow,
these people don't, yeah, I forgot. I wish I could remember. Maybe somebody in the chat room remembers this incident. But now these people are openly destroying our history and our genetic memory bank. But more importantly, they don't want none of our young people to know it and to speak it. Because now this is the sounds of the spirit. And this is why our people have the telepathic ability, okay? Because of the sounds of the spirit. This is why thank you, Critic. This is why they removed the feminine energy out of their religious criteria, okay? Is because the feminine energy is very intuitive, okay? And it's fire, like your wife. Because a real woman, you have to deal with her. This is why our brothers have problems with our sisters, why they run into these other women, is because they'll let them get away with stuff. Okay? And they'll and I know a lot of brothers get angry at me for speaking this truth. But the thing is now our women are under tremendous stress as well, because we are one. We are a netter. We are one. We are neteru. We are twins in the spirit, male and female twins in the spirit. Okay. And when you separate that, then now you're letting this evil energy come in and take over. So, you know, again, we're at a time where this fire, okay, is going to start burning up stuff. Okay. Now, one of the things that I have with the sisters that the brothers complain about a lot is their delivery. Okay. And the energy, the negative energy that they put behind what they're expressing. Because again, man, we got to talk about this stuff, okay? So people can get upset with me all they want. A lot of our black men are still stunted at 14, 15 years old emotionally, okay? Many of them have been raised by women. This is not to put down any of our brothers. Then when they go to school, they're taught by white women, okay? So all of this has an effect on them. This is why I'm not so hard on our young brothers. I know what they have to deal with. Now, when we were growing up, we had real men dealing with us, okay? We had real men dealing with us, whether it's your father, brothers, uncle, whoever, friend of the family. Well, they step to you correctly. But now, again, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And so the issue I have with our sisters is, rather than them using the fire, okay, to show you and to burn up stuff that shouldn't be there, they use it for like what they learn from these people in this wicked system to attack you and tear you down. And see, in the black male chakra, what many people don't know is that black men want to be kings to their women, but they cannot take the emotional pain of how it's being directed towards them. And so both sides got to work at this. Why can't you say nice things? Or you wake up in the morning, how are you today? How did you sleep? You know, are you feeling okay? Is there something I can do for, you know, it doesn't take a whole lot, because the energy that you're creating, okay, the kids are picking up that same energy. And this is why they communicate with each other, what they call battling each other. And then you see these people that get on YouTube battling it. That's brother, it's so sickening. It's so sickening. And, you know, the most sickening part of it is a lot of them have something that can really help our people. It's just the delivery of it. And so you alienate people when you create a hostile environment, you know, and sometimes I have to check my own self when I deliver things, express things, because the urgency of it is what's motivating me. And when you know somebody is trying to kill the spirit of your people, it's hard to face. It's hard to be quiet. You can do whatever you want to me, but at the same time, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of your system. I'm going to keep speaking truth to my people, and we're going to continue to rise. And those that won't rise with us, I'm not worried about you, because the Neteru are going to take care of you. So I guess, I don't know, maybe everybody's, okay. It's all good. I mean, you know, it's all good. But I just today, brother, I wanted to paint this picture that, and this is why I wanted to use the word destroy, because that's what they're doing. They are destroying. If you get a textbook that our children are using, or our kids are using in junior high, high school, and elementary school, you're not in the books. when you are in the books, they're talking about you when you was a slave on a plantation, which is a small part of our historical experiences, a very small part, but a necessary part in terms of us realizing that all of this came out of the utter contempt for the original people of the planet. Okay, and this contempt, okay, these people they want to call white supremacists. Hold on. I'll be right with you. But that's one of my next person I got to deal with.
Yes. Yeah, we know you will soon, brother. So, you know.
Yeah.
You understand.
So I just wanted to make this final point that these people that they're calling, first of all, you cannot be supreme if you are destroying civilization. If you are destroying and hating people, okay, you're not supreme. Okay, so we need to stop using that word because, again, when we use words, they take on a whole different life and power of themselves, especially when we speak it. So with that, Brother Lance, I thank you again. I didn't realize, I guess they're early, but always good to share with you, brother. And I love what you're doing, man, and what your wife is doing, and you and people in the family. A lot of them, you know, I recognize now, and I don't like to call names because inevitably you're gonna miss people. But I have learned some names. I'm going to speak them so people will know I pay attention to them, because nobody wants to feel like they're being ignored, right? There's Master Glam. There's Indigo King. I remember Mr. Hollyman, Willie Hollyman. I remember him from my first video 3 years ago with you. Because you have a loyal following. They've been with you for years. See, I know. There is Reese. There is, hold on, I'll get it. There's Kwame.
Yes.
Diana, something like that. Nasser.
There's so many names, right?
There's so many names, bro. That's why I don't like to call names. But I just wanted the family to know I see you. I see you. I appreciate it. The energy works both ways. And I'm looking forward to reconnecting with you again next week, brother. Keep up the great, tremendous work. We need this to counteract this warfare on our people. And not so much just that, but also for us to be proud of who we are. We should be proud of who we are. This is why people try to beat us down so much. But with that, brother, keep up the great work, and I'll be in touch again with you soon. Peace and love.
Sure, definitely. You wake up in the middle of the night, send a message. If I'm up, or just call me, wake me up. I just hit the table, hit some buttons, boom, and we're here. Thank you so much, brother.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Have a good day.
Definitely.
All right.
Peace. All right. Yes. Yes, everyone. I'll wrap a little bit. Let me see. We have time. Let me see what time it is here. Oh, yeah. I have enough time to maybe put something together in another hour or so. We have Positively Angela coming on tonight. I'm going to make that link after I finish speaking. I'm just so appreciative of Brother Frazier coming on and consistently dropping the knowledge. And, you know, we can't take him for granted. It's a thing where, you know, what he shares is a culmination of so many years, countless years of living, absorbing, reasoning, studying. You see, we have so many people who get out here and run their mouth to be seen, but they speak in vague terms. They don't bring you facts. They cannot show you that they have studied. You know, hocus pocus this and the hocus pocus that. And, you know, okay, when are you going to settle down and really bring what you have to bring. And this is Brother Neil Frazier. This is what he does. And I'm very appreciative of that. He's well versed in. I can't, not that I can't, but it's not for me to do. See, we have heart specialists out there, right? We have brain surgeons out there. Just because a brain surgeon is a brain surgeon doesn't mean because he's a doctor in that area of expertise that if he has a heart issue, he has to go to school all of these years and learn the heart over and over. You'd waste your time, you see? So this is why we have to appreciate those who have studied in their various areas so that it makes it easier for us because they did all the work already. They have the knowledge already. You know, they keep up with the knowledge when things evolve, not necessarily change. They only change if you found out something to be a lie, but they evolve, and you build on that. And he can put you in a place, and the very people out here, not even just Brother Neil Frazier, but not even just people on this channel, but people out in the world. I acknowledge that. Those who have studied and dedicated their lives to a certain area to be able to present it to you in a full package. We have to think that way. So we have to go and weed out those who get on because of their egos, or they get on because they want to verbally plagiarize somebody else's word. Are they coming to a point? Tell me specifically what it is that I have to do. Tell me specifically what it is that I have to know. So many people never get to the point. Brother Neil comes and boom, he tells you facts. And he tells you how certain things are affecting you. And he said in this little over an hour, I mean, hour and 20 minutes, it's hour and 21 now. He got off a few minutes ago, hour and 15 minutes. So much more than these vague charlatans that get online and keep dangling the carrot in front of you instead of building you up. It's real knowledge, when it's the result of real study, it can tell you something concrete. You see what I mean? Do you go to a restaurant where there's no menu and they say, well, we have food, we can give you food? Well, what kind of restaurant is this? You know what I mean? How do you go to a mechanic and there's no sign or any way of reason to know what prices they charge? Tell me, this is what I need. I need to know how I can get this done. There's so many people out here who just say, wake up, wake up, wake up. I thought it was Marvin Gaye singing the way some of these black folks get on talking about wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Let's make love tonight. And that's about all y'all are doing. There's a balance to our existence. It can't be just seeking hedonistic pleasures. Like I said before, we've got to come out of our comfort zone. It's okay to be in the comfort zone. I like a nice pillow under my head, but I'm equipped and I'm ready to sleep on a concrete cold floor with no cushion, just my hands clasped behind my head, and I generate my own heat. You got to be ready to get out of the comfort zone. In this time that we're in, unfortunately, some of us are going to have to seriously get out of it and be pushed out of it. And we're going to be in shock because we're not ready. I'm not a doomsayer, but you have to be in a state of preparedness. You have to be in a state of readiness. You don't have to get ready when you're already ready, right? So when stuff hits the fan, you're prepared already on all levels to improve yourself. I'm looking forward to being the best version of myself in my entire life on all fronts. And I'm 60 years old. And I'm looking forward to my best days. You can't think any different. Oh, I'm on my downside now. So, I guess all over from here, man. Let me just go on over there and grab me a Heineken and a joint and just live my best life. You ain't living your best life in decline. The 20-year-old LANCESCURV will whip the 60-year-old LANCESCURV. I don't know about that, but he was a physical specimen. I know that it may not be like that anymore, but mentally and spiritually, the physical is here to run us down the runway so we can be strong to gain the wisdom that we need to take flight on a spiritual level. But we don't see how all of those things interact with each other. And I want to give a special thanks to Sonia Cotton. I'm a player. Look, I'm not trying to make no cult, but I like that. She said Scurvites. I'm gonna get a shirt with that on there. And it's not about me, but you know, people have their little terms that they coin, and forever you made it. That's the official one. Sonia, you did that. That's your fault. Lance, why are you trying to put this name on? You trying to make a cult? No, that's something funny Sonia said. So we're gonna put that on a t-shirt. I'm a Scurvite. Some people they ain't gonna like it. That LANCESCURV is getting to his head being up on there on them shows, and he thinking too much of himself. He trying to form a cult. Well, I'm just doing this in a playful sense to bind us together. These people out here who are actual pastors and preachers, they the ones with the cults in Jesus' name, taking that money and bringing it to the white neighborhoods and the white bankers. And ain't look, out of all the money, all the billions of dollars that the churches make from black people in America, it's not helping them one bit. You ever think about that? Neighborhoods still jacked up. Where that money going? But they can't tell you. I'm going to really come after religion in the next few days. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of it. They're not building anything up. They're taking from you and sucking from you. Permanent leeches. And all you do is get an emotional release. Emotional masturbation. It's not even real. And you get this enthusiasm for the next 6 days until the seventh day comes back. Some of y'all go to church on a Wednesday. Got to get more of it. But it's like filling a bucket up that has 25 holes in the bottom of it. You never walk away full. You never walk away full in your spirit permanently. And you never walk away full with the bank account, because you'll take your last money and give it to that daggone church. That damn church. I'll say it that way. Now, there are good people with good intentions who don't know. I'm not cursing you out. And there are good pastors who have a good thing, but they're blind. When I say good pastor, I'm not saying the system's good. I'm saying they think that this is the way to go, and they have good intentions, and they have done good things, but they're in a wicked system. If I have the intentions of taking a bath to get clean, and there's feces in there, and I'm scrubbing myself with soap and feces, I shouldn't be surprised when I come out stinking. So you got to come out from that. You got to come out from that and think anew. We can't go with the same tried and true way. Well, back in the civil rights movement, which should have been human rights. That's why they knocked off Malcolm X when he wanted to go to the United Nations on human rights violations. Oh, you taking it too far, nigga. You going too far. See, we're supposed to only operate within a certain containment. If we go beyond that, we're violating. If we think beyond that, we're violating. As long as we tap dance and get them some nice sex and get them some nice entertainment and probably cook up some nice food and clean their house and be happy for the crumbs they give us, they ain't got no problem with us until they do have a problem with us when they get drunk and they realize how much they hate us, which they don't have to get drunk to do that. It's in them. And they want to say, I'm talking hate speech. Hate speech? I'm trying to warn folks, listen, these people, they want you wiped off the face of the earth. And I have no time to look for the good ones. And I've known some good ones to a point. To a point. The snake that has a full belly is going to treat you nice because there's no need to bite you up. So some will be nice to you. But when it comes time to draw the line in the sand, and it's a thing of their survival against your survival, they already know they're operating with minimal. Anyway, out the box, they don't have too many amenities. If the locust people, the ICE people were vehicles on a showroom floor, see us as a people, we got the AC, we got the electric door locks, we got the electric windows that go up and down. See them, you got to roll the windows up. They don't have the amenities. It's not going to be as comfortable. It doesn't have AC. Doesn't have the extra stuff. We come out the box with things that they got to pay for or try to pay for, and it don't stick because it don't belong to them. So they want to make us feel like we're less. See, we've been pushed down so much in our mind that to think more of ourselves to them is a violation. But when we think more of ourselves, in our mind, we got to apologize for it. Because we're not supposed to think more of ourselves. We're supposed to stay down in our thinking. We're supposed to always be subservient to them. Why can't you be subservient to your own people? And why can't we be subservient to ourselves and go after our own causes? Listen, I'm raising more hell from this point on at 60 years old than I ever did in the prior 60 years. Even if I do the whole 60, the next 60 years in 20, and then we'll see how things go beyond that. I want the best and I demand the best out of me because I was made by the best. Don't you know that you're made by the best? I know I'm made by the best. And I'm equipped to anything I put my mind to. I can do and do excellently. And sometimes we need to hear this sometime. We all know this here in this chat room. I hope we all know this here in this chat room and beyond. And for the lurkers who are watching but not here, I hope we know that. I hope our sisters know that they're not just a plaything, that beautiful body that you have and sensuality is a gift from the heavens to your king when it comes time to deal that way. But you are not just that. The world has stripped away all the sanctity and the majesty of who you are. Just strip you down to something naked to satisfy their lust. I'm out here in a crowd, God. I've been to all the slave dungeons out here in this part of the world, and they have one. I believe it was one, either Cape Coast or Elmina, which they're in the same area. And they have a balcony straight from, I hate to say it, but that's what it was, the slave master's quarters. But we were not slaves, but that's what they called themselves, slave master. So they're the master over us. And it had a wonderful view, his bedroom, to look over the ocean. Oh man, you couldn't see a better view. And the next time I go in there, I'm gonna go up in there with 2 cameras blazing. And that wonderful view, he can walk over a catwalk and look down to the sisters that are being brought in. And they're in transit. They're getting ready to get shipped over into America. And he's looking down, and he may say to those down there doing their job, their wicked job, yes, that one right there. Oh, look at her. Make her turn around. Yeah. Oh, yeah, her too. I think that'll be enough. Wait a second. Oh, no. I got to have her. Send them up, clean them up, feed them, and send them to my quarters for my pleasure. And with that wonderful view, they were made to serve, and they don't tell the whole story. Do you think he just sat there with them nude, just looking at him? They were there to serve him in his mind. So he had them in unison doing all kinds of things that are wicked until he tossed them back, and the next day one of the next batch of choice women. And that's how they see you. Very few of them see our sisters to respect them. They will feign respect, but it's only to get to the goods, the mystery, the fetishized thoughts. You can hear them. I heard them lots of times. They don't think I'm listening. Have you ever tried a black gal? Yeah, I had one of them before. And that's what they do. Where do you think the term honkies came from? Because of the white men going into the black neighborhoods and honking their horns at every well-shaped black woman that they could do that to. Because they felt all of them were prostitutes. Honkies. But many people don't know about that. And that's how they've always been with us. And when they see a sister with her man, she's the queen and he's the king, and she shows respect to her man in his world, he should not, as a black man, should be getting that respect. That burns them up. They don't like to see us get along and build. They don't want to see the man submit to the woman and the woman submit to the man. And submission doesn't mean anything that bad that in the Western society they try to make it seem. You know you a man, you know you a king, you know you deserve more. And they have trained the minds of many of our sisters to look at us as less. And that one who is in charge of his wicked system makes sure you get paid less. Make sure that they watch you hard, that you slip up and you get shackled to some kind of crime or some type of thing that keeps you from spreading your wings to go higher. And an unwise sister will look at that and say, you are less, because she doesn't know. So those of us as brothers, we got to explain what it is and show love. And we have to heal. We can't be in this system and expect those oppressors over us on every part of our system, every part of our being to heal us because they smile with us. Ain't none of them got a problem with the system the way it is. They'd be fighting like hell to stop it. Now, wouldn't they? So for all the ones that, I know some that are good. I know some that are good for a time. Like I said, like a snake that just finished eating a full meal. But what is their nature? And are they really upset with the system the way it is? And if they do have an inkling of that inside of them, do you think they're going to move their mouth to open up and say something against it, much less try to short circuit it? So we got to sit here and smile when they say, I ain't got no smiling for you. No, I don't want to shake your hand. I don't want to touch you. You're enjoying the benefits, whether you think you're connected to it or not. I ain't got nothing to do with slavery. No, I didn't do it to you, but you damn sure benefit from what was done. Like Julius Malinga said, here in the motherland, we have to have paperwork to travel back and forth. White folks come, they just come straight on through. Why is it that way? In their countries, the European Union with the euro, they drive straight on through from one country to the next. Here, we got borders. And who made the borders? So why do we have to operate like they want us to? But where they live, it's free. So why don't we reject this stuff? Who are the people in charge? Why is it this way? Why is the world that way? Hell, you talk about reparations, that you ain't giving it to us. I'm not waiting for it, but I'm a damn sure take it if I get it. But why don't you just open up everything? We can come back home. And you got issues over here. But you want to send Kamala Harris over here so she can nudge you about LGBTQ rights. Rights? You saw what happened with the Dalai Lama, this so-called great man that has been exiled, wanting to stick out his tongue so a kid can suck on it in front of everybody. Did he ever brain fart and reveal what he was all about? As old as he is, to have a desire, not even a desire for a woman. Let the Dalai Lama slip up one time and touch some woman's ass. Oh, I'm sorry, it was a nice ass. And, I'm getting older right now. My brain is slipping. I'm not condoning violating sisters. What I'm saying is that what was in him came out. And he got caught. So what was he doing? Mr. Dalai Lama all these years. You ain't no different than a Catholic priest in the system that shifts them around when they caught violating. You don't want to bring down the system. You just want to put a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. This world is so damn sick. And now if you come out and you say something about it, oh, you're banned. Cancel culture. And if you don't have a mouth to open up and say what is wrong and stand by it, you are punk. You a punk. You a punk. Some people would use another word with P and P, say P-U-S-S-Y, but that is a sacred thing. I came out of one of those. So I ain't going to use that word. I've used it as a derogatory term when I was angry back in the past. I'm not going to use it that way. I ain't going to use it that way. I came out of one of those. But for some of them, I will call them a butthole because, see, some of them enemies there, some of us so hell-bent on going back up inside of one. And a man's at that. So you sick for that. This will probably be taken down because there's some white person. I don't feel right about this. I just can't understand. He's made some good points, but the hate, I just don't understand. It really scares me because I've seen him on shows before and he's been such a nice guy. But there's something that trips off in him and he scares me. I scare you and you've been doing this to me in a system that's been doing it to me and you ain't got nothing to say. You scare me because you're one of them people who whip out a phone if I'm being hacked up or shot up. You understand? I ain't got no time for lies anymore. Not that I ever did, not that I ever dealt with it. But right now it's got to be hardcore. Right now it is what it is. Y'all don't like us and some of us love y'all and you love them who lick your boots. I ain't got no love for you. I ain't got no love for the system. And I will be clapping as it self-destructs. I just want my people out of that place or away to a safe place when stuff starts dropping. Because it's been a long time coming, America, and all those who are connected to you all over the world, your NATO nations. If they connected to you and echo the same thoughts that you have, then they are enemy of mine. The system of America is my enemy. I feel so much better over here where I am. The system of America has made me sick. I have not manifested any physical sickness, but that feeling of disease and feeling sick, not operating to my fullest capacity. I got so much energy now. It's like I don't got no time to go to sleep. I'm like, I gotta do this. I want to do. Wow, I'm free. And they don't have the trinkets and baubles and rubies I used to have. We build a little place, we grow a little food, build a little wall, secure it down. I'm good. And some people think that's too much for me. I was slaving all my life. So-called Uncle Sam ain't my uncle. Taking taxes, IRS not even part of the government. A Jewish-run organization, and they still getting billions of dollars from America that we pay into and we built? Nah, I'm getting out of this party. No, and time flies. And for me, the next 20, 30 years going to fly fast. Fast. So I'm going to make every day count from the heart. Because if you don't know me by my track record so far, then you need to hit that button or unsubscribe. And for those who are subscribed, check and see if you're still subscribed. Because I'm losing subscribers. Like, wow, subscribers are coming down like diarrhea. That's not a pleasant thought, but that's not a pleasant feeling. But this is not my platform anyway. This is why I put up this little banner to say, support the channel on Patreon. And again, those who have signed up for the membership on the actual LANCESCURV YouTube channel, I'm going to dismantle this. So if you want to support the channel, you can bring it over there to Patreon, because I told enough people, Indigo King came over, a few Master Glams over there. But, you know, if you can't, no problem. I still love you and I still do what I do. And if you can't, share, like it, because they coming at me hard. You know what I mean? So that's what they're going to do. And that's what I'm going to do back on them. See, I got 24 hours to do what I do. The agents, they got to go home, deal with their family. They got to pay bills. I'm going to work the agents. The agent's going to be like raccoons with dark circles under their eyes. They're so tired. I already can't follow Lance. He's just got too much energy for a 60-year-old. What is he doing? Is he taking steroids or TRT? No. I have so much love for my people. And I'm not going to get consumed in hate for the enemy. You know, I don't hate the roach for being a roach. I just spray the roach or step on them. Get them away from me. I'm the opposite of them who have that feeling for me. You want to wipe me off the face of the earth? Well, guess what? I'm a mirror. What do you think I want to do? Love you? Talking about love your neighbor. No. If you're going to stab me in the back and gossip and run your mouth, I don't love no neighbor. I'm going to run you every chance I see you. I'm going to make you uncomfortable. You're not going to love life. You're going to realize you made a mistake, because I can be vicious and angry and mean too. I can be loving the same way. That's the problem with us sometimes. Let's make up a word, Christianized. Oh, that little homo, that's the illustration there of the white Jesus, that homosexual man. No masculinity. A man is supposed to be a man, real man, where you can stand next to him and he doesn't have to say a word and you feel his power. You feel his passion. All this watered down beta male, beta simp business, agreeing with everything that you say because he just want to pull your panties to the side and get a sniff. Yes, that's a wonderful thing. But to give up your manhood for that thing that you pull the penny to the side to get to, when it's a proper union, it makes you strong. Yes, because when the woman gives that up to you and sees you to be her king, it offers you heaven and earth. When you wake up in the morning, you say, man, I feel good. These damn devils can't stop me, because I know I got heaven at home. But they don't want you to have heaven at home. They want your heaven to be exploited. See? Ghetto gaggers. And have your wayward sisters out there, you know, got a piece of white salami down their throat, and these men just, it's like, what? And I've said it before. We got to stop calling our women booty, because we're telling on a situation that we're not aware of, but we're right on point. Now, why would I say I'm right on point? I'm telling you to stop it. And I'm saying right on point. Go look up in the dictionary the definition of booty. Matter of fact, let me go right to the definition, BOOTY. And let me see if it says definition. Okay, let me just put definition. Come on, booty definition. Okay. What's the first thing when you pull up and you see booty? Valuable stolen goods, especially those seized in war. Valuable stolen goods. It's stolen. It ain't his. Especially those seized in war. War. See, we in a war, we don't realize it. We're in the war on real, baby. Look outside. You know that song. I play it all the time. Yeah, that's what it is. Booty. Oh, I'm going to get some booty tonight. So that's valuable stone. That's your woman, man. You call him booty, and it's seized in a war. Our woman is booty because we're in a war that we lost, and they came in and picked from what they want: the gold, the silver, the booty of war, the booty of war, the valuable goods stolen when you are conquered. So every time you say or call a woman booty, you are saying that you are conquered. You are conquered. You're admitting that you are conquered. You have failed as a man to defend your nation, and you're celebrating your defeat by calling your precious queen booty. And you go to the strip joint to pay a white man who owns the club. And if it's not a white man and it looks like a black man, somewhere along the line, a white man is in charge, because they wouldn't allow that type of club to exist in the city, even if it's way off in the red light district. So you pay to see booty. You pay to see a woman captured, stripped down out of her majesty. She's beautiful. She's beautiful, but she's presented in a filthy, low-class way. She still looks good, but you don't want her up there like a slave auction, shaking around, and you got dollars. This is an auction of lust. Hey, man, she got a nice booty. Well, you a defeated damn, I can't say it. I don't want to cuss too much. Every time you call your woman booty, you're admitting that you are defeated. Who wants to be defeated? I don't want to be defeated. Matter of fact, just for the sake of circulation, I'm going to talk about that on maybe a 3 or 4 minute video. So that's all it is. And I'm going to put a woman's backside as much as I can. You know it's going to get clicks then, but not too much where YouTube says, no, this is too graphic, and put the big word on their booty. And they're going to go in there looking for some booty. Or maybe I can get a couple of these girls who are prostituting themselves, and I'm going to sit in the chair with a straight face, and they'll be next to me shaking their booty, but they'll be covered enough. And I'm going to talk and say this thing while they shake, and people come there for lust reasons, but they get a lesson when they leave. So you got to know how to manipulate people in a way, speak multiple languages, use their lower desires against themselves so they can come back with a righteous mentality, because it'll hit them somehow after a while. You've lost, black man. As much as they call booty, yes, you can be righteous. Yes, you can be saying, it reminds me of me being defeated, and I ain't defeated. When I hear that word, I'm going to go after anybody who says that. Say, come here, man, let me tell you something. Even if it goes from one ear out the next, they're going to remember it. Maybe later on they'll be in the jail. So, yo, this bald head brother, man, what was his name? SCURV, curve? I don't know. But yo, when you deep in your thought, you'll think about them things. I've worked around much people who are very much incarcerated. And when they come to off of their daily high or the outside world, they start thinking, and the mind starts cleansing itself up for those, because lots of times it may not. They start thinking about things. They start remembering things. They start hitting them. Many brothers come out worse because that's crime school. But for those who don't want no part of that and really get a grip on themselves, they realize that they have to change. Yeah, me too, Sonia. Enjoy a bag of pirates booty. But yeah, that name. That name. Oh, the artist, let me see. I can tell you in a second. Let me see. Much as I play it, it should be right at the top of my head, right? It's Metal Netta, right? And it's I think it's Xavy. It's XAVY. And this thing is like, doesn't have enough space, so I gotta see if I could. I'll put it in the description area below after the show is over. I mean, I'm just kind of rambling on. I guess this is the 2 cents that I was gonna do instead of doing a separate show. I'm gonna sign off in a couple of minutes. I just, sometimes you have things that roll off your mind and you want to share it, But yeah, just Google that, because the last part of the name is put METUNETER, and then the name is XAVY, and it's I think it's Rustin or something. But just after that, put R. It'll pop up, because that's a real song. There's not some bootleg, whatever, But there are ways that we can get copyright free music with certain artists that don't mind, putting their stuff out there, and you can use it for a small fee, and it gives them exposure, and they still make money. You know what I mean? So that's the kind of thing I support. Yeah, we have to look at that. Look at that. I'm gonna put this up too, Sonia. The black woman's buttocks are shaped like the magnetic field that envelops this planet. It sure is. I'm just gonna be straight up. I love booty. And I'm not calling it booty, I'm being funny. But I don't love being defeated. But from young, I've always had this thing about a black woman's backside, how beautiful it was, and the thighs and the legs. And it always fascinated me. Even before the single digit ages, I was like, wow, look at that. It's beautiful. I never said beautiful, but I was just like always peeking and looking. And I joke with Mr. SCURV sometimes. I'm tell you a joke. If we travel out of town, I tell us, listen, tell the people at the hotel ahead of time to remove one set of pillows. You can keep your pillows, but I have my built-in set of pillows. She said, oh, you're so crazy. I'm not going to tell them that. I said, those are my cushions. That's the best place for me to rest my head at night. It's warm. It's rounded. It's just made for me. No, my butt wasn't made for you. I said, when the Creator made your backside, he made it for me. That's right. It may not look round and big, but it expands. It is made for me. Boy, it looks so good. Let me take a little rest right now. But you're so right. We are electric, and you're right, Sonia. Yes. I'm looking at I'm noticing those things in nature. Seriously, the more I spend time, not just alone, but just away from that place called America, more things come to me, more downloads come to me that for some may think that, well, this doesn't make sense. Like, why are you thinking this? And it just comes to you. You just know. What we call animals, they're more advanced than we are because they deal with the system, the natural system as it is, and they can survive. Imagine being an animal out in the nature at night, and you got things that you can eat below you on the food chain, and you have things that are above you on the food chain that can eat you. And if you get caught slipping, guess what? You're dinner for somebody. But most of the time, you see everything out there chilling because they've been given instincts. But us now, we continually desire to be around the person who is on the level of a beast who definitely wants to eat us and get rid of us. But because of the sugar and the alcohol and the drugs and the sick entertainment and the school systems that are really schools of indoctrination, we're not operating as we should. So we don't have the instinct of survival to be around these beasts. And we walk right into the trap, don't we? We think it's an honor and a badge. Yes, I'm married to Becky. Yes, her family loves me. No, fool. You make a lot of money and they're going to snuff you, or she's going to take you to divorce court and they're going to favor her a criminal court for this. She's going to say you hitting on her and they're going to get all your money. They don't love you. They don't have the capacity to even what? Heck to the no. When are you going to learn? This whole thing is set up against you. And I'm not complaining like I'm mad or something. I'm not mad. I was mad for a while, but now I know how to work the game. I don't get mad because you ain't going to catch me no more. You ain't going to get me caught up over it, no more. No way. It's crazy. Anyway, I'm going to prepare for Positively Angela's show. I said midnight. That's midnight for me. That's actually 8 o'clock for you on the East Coast. I keep slipping. I still think in terms of East Coast, right? Or over here, but my mind is East Coast because that's how the show is always going to go. East Coast of the United States. I'm not going to change, because that's what started me. That's where the most support came. All of my brothers and sisters in America, and even over here too. But you can't broadcast 8 o'clock at the same time all over the world, Yeah, beautiful. We got to come up with something else to negate that word, though. That's right. The universe is a black womb, our uterus. Exactly. And we're here first. Yes, SCURVites. Yeah, I think Sonia said SCURVites, but D.D. Havens and SCURVites. I'm flattered, but it's not about me. That's what the address is on all that we do, LANCESCURV. That's all it is. It's like, I'm like a restaurant, right? That I could have been around for 30 years in the neighborhood, right? And it just happened to change the name of the business and to something else, but it's the same. So we joke around and use that name or wear a t-shirt like that. It's not a cult or anything. It's just where you find us. And that's what it is, because I wouldn't put so much time into this if it wasn't for the participation of all of you who are here in the chat room and, you know, who come on the show and contribute that way. You know, I do stuff, but it wouldn't be with the passion that I do, because I'm a passionate person. I go hard in everything I do. I would just take that energy and focus it more on other things. But since it has become what it has become, even though YouTube lies about numbers, and I don't even care about that, you're here. That's the main thing. You're here. That's the main thing. And we can vibe together. And I'm always receptive to what you want to talk about. You know, hit me at LANCESCURV.com. If you want to hit me up for something or an idea for a show, and I will run that down below the bottom here. Boom, 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 boom. There it is. That's the contact information. And yeah, if you really want to seriously reach me, go there, because I got 50 million social media platforms. And some people will, you know, I've had people in the course of a day message me on Instagram. Then I have another question and inquiry, and they'll go to Facebook Messenger. Then I have another question, they go to Twitter. I'm like, I can't follow you. Well, you didn't get my message. I sent it to you 2 hours ago. Even just be consistent on the one if you're going to do it. Because I check those two, but I always check my email. That's the best way to do it. You know what I mean? And also, many don't know that I have an American number, but I'm in West Africa. And they're like, how do you do that? Well, I have an app, for those who don't know, that the app company took over the number. And anytime I get a call, it reverts it over here. And as long as I have internet on, I can pick it up, right? And when you text me from your phone to my phone number, it goes to my email. They revert it over to my email. So when I get a text, you know, a lot of times I don't know that number that it's coming from, right? Because it's coming through to the email. So just put a name in there, you know, with that. Hey, this is so-and-so. Then I can change it up, log it in, but I'll never know. Just always throw your name in there. Unless I really know, you know, just put your name. This is so-and-so. This is what I want to say. It makes it a lot easier. Because I get messages all the time. Hey, who are you? What do you want? Hey, what you mean, hey? But again, I'm going to dismantle the YouTube membership, because it's not fair, you know, that one may get some content and the other. And the reason why I'm explaining it again is that I don't trust YouTube. You have a membership, you should be able to say what you want to say to the members and talk the way you want with the content that you put up. But for me, it might be a trap. I might go say something that's against their community guidelines in the membership thing and take down the whole channel, because that's what they want to do. That's what they want to do. So I said, you know what? I'm going to play it safe. I started it out, but I said, you know what? I don't trust the whole YouTube on that angle. You know, YouTube can't take down the channel because of what I do on Patreon. You know what I mean? Can't do it, you know? So yeah, that's what I want to say. So I am going to take it down. There are a few people there that are still there. Please, you know, just understand. Or let me say, wait a second. You know? So we're going to do it that way. So anyway, let me go. I'm going to put the name of this song in the description area or the comment section below afterward. And, you know, we're going to move on to Positively Angela's show. I may have something. I'm working on some things now, and to put up on Patreon and to put up on the YouTube channel. There's always something coming. So even if there's a little delay, there's always content coming. The last 2 days, it was overcast and it rained, so we didn't have any walk and talks to do. But if she's going to go up to the property and I'm going to stay down and have some runs to do in the city, I'll do a solo walk and talk. I'll do a solo walk and talk. So we'll do it that way. So anyway, much love to you all. And I will talk to you tonight. Well, not tonight.
To the stress to the heat. I'm trying to do.
Wait a second. That was just too fast. I cut myself off. How rude of you, Scurv. Yeah. Tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Positively Angela. There'll be some more stuff to throw up afterward. And if you want to do a conference line tonight, we can do it. Just let me know. I'll be on the show with her. I'll be in the background. So we'll see, you know, because I'm going to be up pretty much most of the night tonight. Okay. So anyway, again, much love, and I will talk to you later on. Peace.
To the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby. look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out.
Oh, a couple times.
I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the heat. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Oh yes sir, I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Can't be a real, might get you canceled. The whole system need to dismantle. Coppers treated like the utmost wanted. Tryna rule the block but don't know what goes on it. News got a story with a new take on me. Carrying out the window with the screw face on me. But I know that God love me when my burn 95 degrees and I can't get sunburn. Wonder when your government don't make me legal. Burn the whole city if I can't be equal. Get off my please, Brad, I earned that. 400 years, how you still ain't learned that? I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Oh yes sir, I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Shout out to the trying to gentrify the genre. Tell them free my middle finger to your honor. In the days coming down the seconds on the timer. Goofy still trying to purchase that designer. About to buy, learn to grow my own food. Cause I don't like the look they give me in the Whole Foods. And when you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. But it ain't on me now, I'm limping cause my heavy. But ain't sweet, think we thin. My whole attitude on MC Ren. It's my neighborhood now, Bob, I bought that. 400 years, how you still ain't caught that? I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Oh yes sir, I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out.
Take it away, feeling too good to me. Chilling all day, all in your space is where I wanna be. Here in this room, what did you do? I just can't get enough. Too caught up in your love. I've been trying to forget, but you won't let me. Something in my brain wants you. I've been hanging by myself, asking for help, but nothing seems to work on you. Yeah, you always make me feel like, oh yeah, you never leave my thoughts alone, yeah, you're the reason I'm going out my mind. I just can't stop thinking about you. crave when you're away. Nights are sleepless. Do we need space? Yeah, maybe you're brave. Boy, you're my weakness. Give and we take, the love that we make, it's my favorite drug. Too caught up in your love. I've been trying to forget, but you won't let me. Something in my brain wants you. I've been hanging by myself, asking for help, but nothing seems to work on you. Yeah, you always make me feel like, oh yeah, you never leave my thoughts alone. Yeah, you're the reason I'm going out my mind. I just can't stop thinking about you.